In this tutorial, I'm going to explain how to take the output you got out of the HPV shell designer and turn it into something that you can actually use physically. There's basically two options here. You can either choose to print something, or you can choose to take your CNC files. What I'm doing is opening a Windows Explorer, and in the top of Windows Explorer I'm typing in %appdata, %. And when I get there, I will find that there's an HPV shell design folder there, and I'm going into that. Now whatever your project name was whenever you did your output, it will create a folder under this folder that says name of your project with an underscore following it, and then output. So we produced output in a prior video on the default long wheelbase, and so I'm going to go to that output folder, and in here I'll see a lot of files. Now if you're looking for the CNC files, you want to load one of these things up and there's a different file for each one of these ribs you cut. You'll have to take all the files over, put them on a thumb drive or whatever, and go to your CNC machine and cut these things one at a time. Those of you who are the early version users, keep in mind that you want to make sure that that something works. I mean, you don't want to gouge your tool through the tabletop, stuff like that. And you know, this is all untried, so you are my tester, so just be cautious when you run the file. What we're going to do here is we're going to load in one of the default ribs, or excuse me, the default long wheelbase ribs, and it's default only because the name of our project file is default, but we're going to load it into Notepad, or excuse me, Paint. And Paint comes with Windows. If you don't have it, you can download it from Microsoft. But here's one of the ribs, and we see a little bit of a rough edges up here, and that is scaled to size, so it is in the 1/16 of an inch range rough edges. I don't think it's anything that a sander won't cure. It had to do with me fighting some of the goofy shapes that came out of the Microsoft shape drawing machine. It's a little bit pointy down here, and I'll probably sand that off too, but you know, make it a little more smooth around here. But on the big parts that where the airflow is most pristine along the sides, it looks really smooth. These holes, there's always a center hole here, which shows you you'll be able to run a conduit through it of whatever size you wanted. And what we're going to do now is learn how to print this thing and scale on through Notepad. I use Paint.net a lot, but Paint.net, believe it or not, would not allow me to print more than one page no matter what. It didn't even give me that option. It makes it think it's a picture only. I don't know if you can change it through another format and get it to full it, but anyway, it wouldn't allow me to do it. So we're just going to use ordinary old Paint, and we're going to go to Page Setup from Paint, and we'll see that we have an Adjust To thing, and what we want to do is to scale, and it'll automatically figure out how many pages it takes to fit that to scale, and we just click OK, and it thinks it's going to take 8 pages. And I've actually, let me go back to that. I want to show you something else that I had done prior and remembered that. I had used the landscape version. This is about 24 by 19 inches wide, and I just arbitrarily chose this. I could go 3 by 2. Well, actually, I think I'd have to go 3 by 3 the other way, but 2 by 8 will get me this way. So I'm going to have 2 wide in landscape and 4 high in landscape. So we'll have 8 of them all together. 2 by 4 it says. Just click OK, and then you just go to click Print. You can do it here, or just click the big button here, and it'll print those out. And I've already done it, so I'm not going to do it again. But that's how you get those scaled outputs. And that's how you end up with something you can actually use. Good luck.